Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Monday Fun Day, and this is Monday Morning Mindset. And what is mindset and why does it matter? So, mindset is a combination of your thoughts and your feelings that impress into your subconscious, and that energy impresses into your body. And it's the energy that goes out from you and attracts back to you every single thing that you do all day long. And so, it's a combination of your thoughts and your feelings and your actions. And this is your attitude. So resetting our mindset is the most powerful thing that you can do for yourself and for your family, for your community, all day long, every day. And so our oil this week is the oil of white Angelica. And this is such a beautiful protection oil. We often talk about it being a protection oil that affects your aura and strengthens your energy, the energy around you. But one of the things that it does more than anything else is gives you protection in your thoughts so that you can think the right thoughts. You can think the right thing. You can think the thoughts that you want to think that are going to protect you, that are going to uplift you, that are going to allow you to achieve what it is that you want to achieve. Rather than thinking about the things that we don't want or that we don't like, we get to think about the things that we do want and we do like. So take a deep inhalation, hold at the peak of your breath, and hold as long as you can. The longer you hold, the deeper it integrates. And then gently blow out through your mouth. So the deeper you breathe and the longer you hold, the more benefit that you're going to get. And do this deep inhalation at least 3 times before you apply it. And then once you apply it, you're going to get actually more benefit from the oil. And so this oil, not only does it help us to protect our thoughts, but it helps to restore harmony in our thinking, to restore the harmony and the balance of having good thoughts and good thinking, and being able to think the thoughts that we want to think, to be able to notice the thoughts that we're thinking that aren't supportive to our well-being. And so in that way, it helps us to increase connection. And one of the things, the most beautiful things that this does, the oil using daily use of the oil of white Angelica, is it removes shame. And so we're no longer ashamed of our what we're thinking. So our thoughts are clean and pure, and there's no shame, there's no sham, there's no pretense. There's just that clear, unpolluted way of thinking positive thoughts about ourselves and everyone around us. And so use your white Angelica all week to help you think thoughts that are going to help you create the feelings that you want and create the outcomes that you want in your day. And I can see some people hopping on here with me. I would love to see your comments and see who it is. If you want to give me a comment in the chat. Cindy, good morning. Lovely to see you. Happy to see you here. Thank you so much for joining me live. And so now I have this little story I want to read to you. It's called the Carpathia. There were 3 ships around one sinking ship when a distress signal was being sent out. And the ship's name was Samson, was only 7 miles away from the sinking ship. And they turned their backs because the crew aboard the ship had been involved in illegal hunting of seals, and they didn't want to get caught. So because they were ashamed of what they were doing, they did not go to the distress signal. And there was another ship about 14 miles away from the sinking ship, and the California ship saw the distress signal, and yet they were surrounded by ice and it was nighttime, so they didn't feel safe to move. And they felt like they were too vulnerable themselves, and so they decided to wait until the morning for conditions to improve. The third ship, the Carpathia, was about 60 miles away and moving in the opposite direction of the distress signal when they heard the cries come over the radio. And the captain, Arthur Rostron, decided to help. And so he simply prayed that God would give him direction, and he turned about his ship. And the ship dredged through the ice fields in the dark, and it kept on going towards the sound of the distress call for the ship that was sinking. The very shipwreck that they sailed towards was no other than the Titanic. And because they responded, they saved 750 lives that night because one man had the courage to look beyond his own discomfort and choose what was right over what was easy. And so courage is not about intense bravery. It's about having that internal response to intuition to do what's important because someone else is in need. And so as we're using our oils and thinking about how we want to think, what are the first thoughts that populate? When the first thoughts that populate are thoughts of self-protection because you're thinking thoughts that are inferior to the support that we need to even give ourselves, and if we're involved in activities that are not productive, then it's because we have been in the customary habit of thinking thoughts that are limiting and thinking thoughts that are self-supportive rather than thoughts that are going to enhance our life and our society. And so I thought this story was appropriate to really help us think about the thoughts that we're thinking, and are the thoughts that we're thinking giving us the results that we want in our life. And so the more that we can protect our thinking, the more that we can strengthen the aura and to guard our thoughts and to only think the thoughts that are going to give us the outcomes in our life that we're desiring, the more powerful we will become, and the greater support that we will be, not only to ourselves, but to our entire communities. And there's so many people in need around us. They're sending out distress signals for the very thing that you have that could help them. And so instead of shrinking in, let's expand out and be able to be the best that we can be this week more than ever before. Use the oil of white Angelica to help you have that expansion and thinking beyond your limitations to the potential of all that you could do to help others. Bye for now. Have a most amazing week.